Welcome back, guys. We are here for another episode of Weddings Unedited.
Woo!
I am your host, Courtney Calton, with the lovely
Alicia D'Elia.
And today we are very excited because we have our very first interview.
I know. It's like we're popping that cherry. Finally.
Whoa, this just elevated quickly.
I mean, we're drinking at 10 a.m., so, here we are.
Why not? Well, today we have the lovely one and only Cassandra Garza of Candelaria Beauty.
Yes. Hello, Cassie. Hello.
Cassie Cat.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. A cute little background, and you just look all professional already.
And she looks glammed up. She looks great compared to us, especially. So,
I know.
That's already a great sign.
Are you shocked, though?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never.
No. Well, today we are drinking Cassie's favorite drink.
Yes.
The Moscow Mule.
Cheers to... She's actually got the copper mug.
I know. She's outdone us
do.
already. If you're watching on YouTube, and you can see she has a copper mug, and we are just drinking out of regular glasses. Look at me.
She's just squeezing that...
I don't drink very often, so when I do, I'm like, it has to be right.
Yeah. It's got to hit just right. Do you do just like a standard mule, or do you like the flavors, or...
So the mule that I did is the Kettle One with peach and orange blossom infused.
Oh.
What?
Yes.
Fun.
Yes. Here we go. I brought over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
she's got it right there.
I did.
She's advertising for us right now.
Yeah.
Kettle One might want to sponsor this podcast.
Go ahead and reach out to us.
Kettle One, drink it today.
I didn't even know that was a flavor.
I did. I think I have it at home, but it's
very good.
I'm definitely going to have to go get that.
I didn't even think about adding that in. That's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Peach blossom. Do I need to write this down?
Yes, do it.
Peach and orange blossom.
Oh, orange.
She's erasing. Or
Blossom.
Jesus. So in the meantime, while she's making her notes all over the place, Cassie, why don't you give us just a quick little rundown about who you are, what you do, and just all the things. Then we'll just dive right into all the good stuff, the tips and the questions.
Yeah, for sure. So I am Cassie of Candelaria Beauty, and we're Denver's hair and makeup artists. Been doing this for about 12 years now. So that's fun.
That's a long time.
We specialize in boho, glam, natural, kind of the whole thing.
All of it. And
all
you have
of
a
it.
team of ladies that work for you, correct? Yeah.
I do. So I actually have male and female artists.
Oh, well, of course. Yeah. Never discriminate. Of course.
We're very inclusive here, ladies.
I love it. Yes.
Very
We're all
inclusive.
about that.
How many people on the team currently?
So there is, including me, there's 11 of us.
Holy, I was not prepared for that. I was prepared for 4. Girlfriend. Yes.
Get it, boss
That
lady.
is amazing.
Yes.
I also just adore you guys so much because, as far as I know anyway, you're the only people that do hair and makeup. So many people do just hair or just makeup, which makes it really hard for us vendors to refer people because I'm like, okay, well, you need this hair and then you need this makeup. And
Yes.
Putting it all in one is very nice.
So it has been really enjoyable for me to just send them you. And I'm like, they can do everything, whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, we so some of our artists do both, and I call them a little bit more like combo artists, right?
Yeah.
And then we have artists that only do makeup, and we have artists that only do hair.
Okay. And so you end up doing packages that will include both, but it has 2 people? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's definitely way beneficial, like you said, for the client side to be able to have one company they're dealing with. And it's just a much more cohesive experience for them. And they're not contacting multiple people.
Right. No, exactly. Well, I think that's what Courtney was really referring to, is just having to reach out to one extra vendor, which, when you're planning a wedding, even just one extra is a lot.
It's so exhausting.
Mentally. So anything we can do to help, and the fact that you offer that with your team is amazing. And I think that's wonderful. So, but we're really excited to dive into hair and makeup, because I know nothing really about hair and makeup in general. So
This
I'm
is
just
as good as it gets.
Well, you ladies look fabulous.
Well, thank you. This is 3-day-old curls. You can see where my hair clip was yesterday.
How dare you? How dare you?
It's usually over here hanging to the side.
So let's dive in and tell us, how your love of beauty came to exist.
So I was 15. I grew up in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And I was walking through the mall with my dad, and I walked by a Mac counter. Okay, because Mac is and was the shit at that time. Okay.
Right. This was really like a monopoly.
Yeah. In the Bay Area, everybody wears makeup. Everybody.
California in general, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, woman, child.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. So I was walking past, and I didn't really have that much experience with makeup at that time. I just kind of was like, whatever, My mom was like, "You're so beautiful. You don't need to wear it."
Yeah.
Every mom says
Mom stuff.
mom stuff. And I walked past, and this little sales girl, she knew what she was doing. She did.
Roped you right in.
She's like, "Come here, little young Tinder, come sit down." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." So I sit down, and I'm like, "Dad, I'm going to sit right here." He's like, "Okay, I'm going to go get some jeans." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like 30 minutes later, she had a full smoky eye on me, and I was feeling extra, extra fabulous.
At 15, you said?
15, girl, 15.
You were getting it.
15, I was still climbing trees. I can't even imagine having a smoky eye at that point. I would have been like a raccoon
This girl.
chilling.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, okay."
Just like a door, like a curtain opened.
Yeah.
And then just,
This
Yep.
is how fabulous I can be.
Yeah, literally. And so here's the best part. My dad comes over, and he's like, "So did you like anything?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I liked it all, right?"
I want all of it.
All of it, right? And he asked the sales girl, he goes, "So what did you use on her?" And she's like, "I used this, this, this." There was probably like 10, 15 things, right? He goes, "We'll take all of it."
$400 later.
Thank you, Father.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yes." Went home the next morning, got up to go to school, was in high school, and replicated it. And I was like,
That light switch was really turned on at that point. Yes.
This is where I belong.
Wow.
belong. But it took me 10 years after 15. So it took me until 25 to realize that this is what I really wanted to do with the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So then were you self-taught from that point forward, or did you... That is,
so
I think that's
basically
the best.
I was just, at that time, like YouTube was really coming in, I was watching a bunch of videos. There wasn't Pinterest, there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't any of that, right? So a lot of it was just literally sitting down in a mirror and just practicing, literally just hours of just, because for me, it was like painting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so therapeutic. And it's something that I look forward to even till today, of just sitting down and kind of just giving myself some self-love in that mirror for like an hour.
Love that so much. I feel like that's honestly the best way to learn, is just sitting there playing with colors and just practicing. I don't know.
And I wasn't scared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't scared. I knew I had this higher sense of like, if it doesn't look good, I'll just take it off.
Yeah.
True.
I'll just erase it and start over.
Get in the shower.
Right. Hop in the shower, take some makeup remover, you're good to go. And I think that like a lot of women, they kind of get stuck in the sense of like, "Oh my God, I have to like wear this." No, boo, you don't. You just take it off. It's simple. Just take it off.
You're allowed to. I think that's actually really like something good to like keep in mind for sure.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. Definitely, love hearing how people start getting into what they want to do with the rest of their life. And it's just interesting that your light bulb went off so early, which
it did. But I didn't listen to that light bulb. It took me 10 years. It still took me 10 years. And then I moved out of state from California to Colorado and was like, now's the time. Now's the time. Pursue it. Start over. Take a chance. And then it was weird too, because like, as soon as I got here, I started networking through Denver. Mm-hmm. And then my career just went, it just took off. And those are just kind of signs that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're in the right place at the right time. Yeah. So it was awesome.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. So now, what is your focus when it comes to hair and makeup styles? I know you briefly just went over this when you introduced yourself, but I don't know if you wanted to just dive into that just a little bit more. So maybe, any brides out there who are listening, maybe further understand just like the style and whatnot that you try to achieve while also listening to their wants and needs.
Yeah, for sure. I think that focus when dealing with bridal clients is a two-part thing. I think the first thing is more of like a collaboration, right? So that's more the main focus, right? Is that you're coming in and you're meeting this client for the first time you're touching their hair, first time you're touching their makeup, really getting an understanding of what they want. And then the other part is most of the time, most people want to look natural, but just a little bit elevated, right? They don't want to cover up, right, a whole lot. And I think that that's kind of like our approach to it all, is that something natural, but a little bit more elevated, a little bit more polished out, that everything's cohesive. They have a really beautiful gown. They have beautiful florals. They have all of this stuff that we don't do on a normal basis, right?
Most of us, yes.
Yeah.
Walking out in like a $5,000 Haley Page dress, right?
Oh, yes. Haley Page. Yes.
Yeah.
Shout
just
out.
not doing that, right?
Yeah.
So that has to be in balance, right? So we really try to focus on meeting the client halfway and really managing their expectations and being like, hey, this is what would look good on you. This is what maybe we can adjust a little bit. And that's really just our approach to working with brides.
How do you think that you deal with, because I'm sure this happens all the time, where brides bring you a picture online that they want to look like this?
Yes.
Sometimes the expectations can be quite different. Like, this girl might be covered in fake freckles, let's say, and she wants that look. Like, how do you bring them to reality to, let them know that this, yes, is doable, or no, because your skin tone is different, or whatever?
It's really through detailed and thoughtful conversation with them, right? So sometimes we'll have clients that bring us in these super extravagant makeup looks, and I will be like, well, do you wear makeup normally?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay. You're a lip gloss and mascara kind of girl. Okay. All right. So this may be a little shocking if I take this exact photo and put it on you. And that is the misconception, right? That's the misconception that these photos should be taken and literally taken everything from that photo and put directly onto the client. No, that's what you shouldn't be doing. We're taking aspects of that photo and that inspiration and applying them directly to the client in order for them to feel natural, feel elevated, and it customized for them.
Okay.
I love hearing that, because in my mind, I would have done the whole thing in the picture on that client. So that
is why
I love
you're not
hearing,
a hair makeup artist.
Exactly.
No, thank God.
But this is why I love hearing that you just
And
would take
and
things.
most of the time, those photos that they bring to us, they'll literally, I'll be looking at the photo and I'll be like, oh, she surely likes that lip gloss color. And she'll be like, no, I just like the blush color out of the whole entire picture. And you're like, oh,
okay, I can do that. Yeah.
I mean,
and you kind of do a mashup.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing their part where they want to try to give you a visual, but sometimes it's almost like that extra step might be too much. But
yeah.
I think maybe that could dive right into the next question is, what do you wish clients knew more about, and feel free. This is, the point of this podcast is to definitely put as much information out there into the world. And, if there's ever been situations where you felt like, there was something that just really stuck out constantly that you would want clients to know, this is your opportunity to
your platform.
Yes, this is your platform.
There's kind of a couple, guys.
Yeah.
I love it. Bring it on.
Great. That's so
Our
great.
one rule is obviously just no names.
Yes. If you refer to a specific story or situation,
Or
we're not
vendor.
here.
Oh, like a client?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No. No. And it's always, because it's always a learning experience when you're going through these things. And so, of course, it's not really ever their fault. It's just, there's just some things that you've realized that you would prefer to do a certain way based off of things that you've done. So this is just, so take the lead. Go right ahead. You let us know.
So probably the biggest thing is open communication.
Yeah.
Open communication, right? I think too, what happens is that some clients can get really stuck on wanting their hair or makeup to look exactly like the photo. Mm-hmm. Now, the photo is just for inspiration. We have to take into consideration the lighting of that photo. That photo could have been taken inside a studio where all the details, all the intricacies of the hair is really lighted. So you can see all of that texture in the hair, right? Also too, there's some type of filtration, there's some type of Photoshop going on to soften natural skin, right? To soften the colors, or there's even a color filter on the photo where realistically, that's not even what that lipstick color looked like in person. Right.
Yeah, such a good point. We can definitely touch on that where it's like photographers will pull up like the reds in a photo if someone's like, especially if like the groom has a lot of like, I don't know what is with men, but they have a lot of red tint in their skin. And so in photos, sometimes for me personally, I know I sometimes push up like the hue of the reds to be a little bit more orange, and not to take away, not to a point to take away from the makeup or anything like that. Right. But like if a bride has red lipstick, I make it a point to not take it too much away from that. But that's definitely a good point because it does happen.
Yep. Yes, it does happen. And also too, understand that, your look should be specific to you, right? And you should embrace your unique beauty. Yep. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like we do like further consultations, like when a gal comes in and she wants her hair all up, but she always wears her hair down, may be the best fit for you that day, because it may feel like you don't feel like yourself, and ultimately you want to feel like yourself. You want to feel like yourself walking down the aisle, and having your pictures taken and feeling the most confident that you could possibly feel.
I love that. Yeah. It's true. The best version of yourself.
Yeah. So basically just try not to put too much pressure on yourself to look a specific way based off of the things that you're seeing. Really integrate your personality into it.
Yes. And we really try to draw that out, right? We really take the time to get to know our clients, especially through their trial runs and their previews, to really get to know who they are, what their personality type is. Like for me, you guys would meet me and be like, oh, big personality, big energy. So typically I wear something that's a little bit more bold, because I just have a bigger personality, right? But if I have a client that's a little bit more reserved, she's a little bit, low key in her everyday life, this bold of a look, she's going to feel overwhelmed. And this isn't about me. This is about the client, right? And that's one thing too, is like back to collaboration.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, just keeping that communication open and.
Yes. Actually keeping communication open, expectations, having, realistic expectations. If you're blonde, don't bring me somebody that has long, dark hair. Like that's just not gonna work. It's not gonna look the same. Yeah. Blue eyes and you have brown eyes. Like, come on, meet me halfway here.
Yeah. Those are valid points. Absolutely.
So what would you say is your favorite secret or like just, a good beauty tip that you would want to give everyone to prepare for their wedding day?
Definitely no alcohol the night before.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
No, y'all gonna hate me for that. I know that we got rehearsal dinners. We got people in town. The festivities are happening before the wedding. But let me tell you, my brides that have refrained from drinking alcohol the night before, they're less puffy, their skin's less dehydrated, and their makeup it's a world of difference.
That's interesting. It makes sense, but when you're saying it out loud,
gives me a heart attack. Knowing I have to deal with my family without alcohol.
No, so I'll text my brides that Friday night if they have a Saturday wedding. I'll be like, hey, just a little friendly reminder, let this be your last drink and get lots of water. Take your water intake.
Good to know. Well, I'm always like forcing water onto my brides, like all day, anytime I'm hanging out with them, and especially if I get the opportunity to be with them for like the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
I'm constantly but actually this is great. So it's like now I have an extra
an extra thing we can tell our brides because of you.
Be aware.
Yeah.
It's hard though. I get it. You know what I mean? But if you some of our brides are super serious. They want to look absolutely fabulous. It's an investment, right? They've made the investment with us. And so why not take just that little extra step that could really elevate your look?
Totally.
That actually is, because that's actually one of the things we were going to talk about is like tips, I know, for someone trying to prep their skin and or hair for the wedding day. So obviously being hydrated is really important. What other things would you recommend to brides for, preparing for the big day other than just, trying to drink lots of water?
Or things that they should stay away from.
Right. And especially with hair and makeup too. If there's any, like showing up with like clean hair and all of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So, we'll talk about the skin side first. So skin side first, if you want to go get an eyebrow wax or any type of waxing to the face, you need to do that at least 2 weeks prior to the wedding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there might be any type of adverse reactions, swelling or redness. And like, unless you know for sure that you're not going to swell and you're not going to get a lot of redness, you don't want to take that chance too close to the wedding. So schedule that stuff prior.
Covering that up, oh my gosh. Woo.
My ladies uptake, definitely intake a lot of water. Number 2 is definitely exfoliate. Like you gotta exfoliate, babes. You do. It just it will help to slough off a lot of that dead skin and give your skin a lot more of a smoother finish, right?
Especially in Colorado, because it's so dry here.
Especially here. You don't want to do anything too aggressive to the skin, too close to the wedding, as far as like Kim peels or like microdermabrasion or any type of lasers or anything that's real rough on the skin. About a month before.
Yeah.
And then as far as like your hair, get a trim, babe. Like 8 weeks before the wedding, get a trim. Before your trial run, get a trim. It doesn't have to be something that's like taking inches off, but at least get a little bit of a trim so that the hair looks fresh. It helps for the hair to get a little bit bouncier. It kind of bounces back up, right? And then also too, making sure not using too much conditioner, especially in the scalp area. So my girls that have really long, thick hair, I've been kind of seeing is that there's a lot of product buildup in their hair right through here. So they're not rinsing out all of the conditioner, and that product is just really sitting in the base of their hair, sitting at the scalp and making it greasy.
Oh,
interesting. Well, this is just like a life lesson.
I know. I'm like, okay, what else can I do in just my daily life?
Conditioner, you should be starting at the bottom of your hair.
Yeah.
All of that should be from the mid shaft down. And then whatever you still have left, which should be very little on your hands, and taking it through the top of the hair.
Not even on the scalp. Not on the scalp, just like
not even necessarily on the scalp. Yep. Okay. Just like through that, right? So that there's not too much product and it's not weighing down your hair, especially when you're looking for something very voluminous, right? Yeah. And then also too, one thing that's super, super, super helpful is when brides wash and blow dry their hair the night before.
Okay. So what's the difference between doing it the night before and the day of? Like that morning?
Your hair needs to be 100% dry, meaning that there's no moisture in the hair. Anytime that there's any slight little bit of moisture in the hair, your hair is not going to curl as well. It's not going to hold as well. And it's not going to be as voluminous as you would want it.
That makes sense.
Because the moisture will weigh down the hair.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. This is all like, again, I feel I'm so
like
happy we're doing this right now.
My hair is always much happier when I curl it the second day after blow drying than the same day.
True.
And my clients too, that if their hair is a little bit more of like a not a super smooth texture, blow drying that hair will really help that cuticle lay down on the hair so that your hair looks smoother and more refined and more polished.
She's so excited right now. I love it. She's like getting
yes.
That the morning. So don't do that the morning of, because you won't get all of the moisture out. And also too, the hair will be a little bit more lived in that second day.
Be frizzier.
Fabulous hairstyle.
Oh, yeah. So that's amazing. And I was going to say, because I know one of the questions we had that actually was someone who had asked me when I was like inquiring about, what brides maybe would ask a hairstyle or hair and makeup artist.
Yes.
Anything that they can do to make your job easier. So obviously following these tips to make sure they're showing up on the day to look as fresh as possible. Is there anything else that they can do to make your life easier? It's a great question. So you could have probably already answered it, but I figured if there was anything else, even if it's logistics or anything like that.
Brush your teeth. Brush your teeth before you sit down in your chair to get.
No, that's a valid point, because if they're eating and they are already drinking or something, they had coffee or whatever. Yeah, true.
Brush your teeth.
That's a good point. So
that's
ladies,
just a basic hygiene.
What?
That's just a basic hygiene life thing, right? Like,
brush your teeth. What'll happen, right, is we'll have a bridesmaid and she'll be like, I'll be like, okay, it's your turn. Come sit down, friend. True. And they'll be like, oh, wait. I gotta go brush my teeth. Honey, I've been seeing you sitting there for the last 20 minutes.
On your phone.
Brush your teeth then.
Yeah.
And now we're waiting for you. Don't be that bridesmaid. Don't be her.
Don't be
Nobody likes her. Just kidding. We love her.
Don't be the bridesmaid that keeps the vendors waiting, right? It's not your day.
True. You got to keep the train going.
Yeah.
Let's go.
True. Just be ready with a to-go toothbrush and toothpaste.
A mint.
Right. Just like this. Just sitting.
Just sit there holding it. Yeah. It's my turn. I'll go.
Me.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we're getting through so many good questions. I love this so far.
So, how far out would you suggest that your brides do their trials?
So we actually don't do trials for any unbooked clients.
Okay. So with the trial, you do that for your ladies when they book you officially. So even when they book you, how far out do you usually recommend a bride book hair and makeup before their wedding day?
So we like to book those about 4 to 6 weeks out.
Oh, okay. 4 to 6 weeks. Okay.
For the trial or for like
the booking?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so like if a bride is looking to book hair and makeup in general. No, that's fine. Yeah, that's good to know. So trial's usually done 4 to 6 weeks prior, but to book for the entire process, how far ahead would you recommend a bride
reach out?
Yes.
Oh, well.
I know it's kind of, I like it, like typically. It doesn't have to be like a hard black and white answer. You can even give like a range.
It's so hard.
12 to 9 months.
12 to 9?
12 to 9.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I feel like nowadays that's sort of the standard for a lot of vendors anyways. So, I mean, honestly, anytime someone reaches out to me for recommendations, if they haven't booked hair and makeup, I'm like, as soon as you get the opportunity, do it. Yeah. I mean, the sooner the better.
But I also feel like too, like there's kind of like this really big shift, right, in like work-life balance, especially for a lot of us right now. Like we're not even booking any 2023 brides.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing that just because I feel like last year we did that. We were booking 2021 brides and we were booking 22 brides. And I felt like those brides that are getting married in the current year, they deserve to have that attention on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just kind of feel like, the experience that I want my clients to feel is that, we're there for them, we care. And I feel like if we're being pulled in too many different directions, especially for looking so far ahead, we're not staying in the moment.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
I can't even.
And cheers to that. Cheers to that, ladies. Like, seriously, they deserve that.
Yeah.
They deserve that.
Exactly. So with that being said, if in your situation, which I 100% support, someone is reaching out and looking for like a 2023 wedding, and it's just one of those things where they would just need to keep an eye out for when you open your books. And do you have any idea of when you think you might be doing that for next year, if anyone's thinking about hiring you and they're interested?
So we actually have a wait list. So we created a wait list. We're going to be opening our books on October 1st of 2022.
Okay. So you're going to have a long wait list to go through.
By the
time
time
someone to go through that for you.
Yeah. By the time October comes, to send out all those emails.
So when October comes, don't reach out to Cassie for anything, at least in the beginning of the month. She's going to be preoccupied.
Yeah.
Well, good thing I got a VA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Those
outsourcing. Outsource a girl. Exactly.
All about that. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Totally.
Let's see. So for the brides who are wondering, this was a question that I also got in. They're wondering how to keep their makeup looking fresh all day, because obviously, you're going to start in the morning, many hours before the actual ceremony rolls around, and especially photographers, videographers will, try to push to do like first looks and stuff to try to minimize the amount of time that they're taking away from the couple during cocktail hour. And so there's just a lot going on throughout the day. So is there anything that they can do to keep their look looking fresh?
So there's a couple of things. So there's one option. One option is you could hire us for touch-ups. Okay. We could stick around after we complete services. Typically that looks like maybe the bride whisking off and taking first look, and then she's coming back, and there's still some significant amount of time before the ceremony, right? That we could do touch-ups prior, that she's going out and doing some bridal portraits or doing, bridal party photos. And then we can stay after the ceremony and touch her up until like the, essentially the reception.
Yeah.
That is an amazing service to offer.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Yeah.
So we can offer touch-up services. It can get a little bit pricey, right? But it is worth the investment. And some of our clients really do love that experience, because those services can not only just be extended to you, but they can also be extended to anybody else that received services from us.
Okay, then that's good to know.
For the
especially,
bridesmaids?
And because I was honestly going to say that as a photographer, like the bride will look to us, and be like, oh, how does my if they have makeup artist still there, they're like, how does my makeup look? How does my hair? Can you pin this? Can we get fresh lipstick? All of that.
So that's also another thing, is that with past clients, I've actually gone out with the photographer and been on site. So I have like a touch-up bag with like powder, lipsticks, blushes. Also too, I'm able to hold their bouquet.
Oh, don't tell us that twice. We
Yeah,
will
I'll take
definitely
advantage of
utilize
that in a
Byron would
heartbeat.
love that. Byron's my official bouquet holder, so he would really appreciate that.
I'd be like, Cassie, can you hold this veil just 90 degrees into the light, please?
I was just about to say that. So that's what happens, is like you guys get the couple in the shot, right? And maybe like the wind is blowing and that veil blows and it's not as picturesque as we would love, right? Yeah. So you're like, Cassie, go in. And I like run in like the ball getter at the tennis matches.
The tennis match, yeah.
Yeah, I just go grab it real fast and just boom. And
that's a true team player right here.
Right there.
Right there. Team player. We love that.
You're hired.
Yeah.
You can be on my standby list.
It's one of those things that I can now mention to brides if I'm having a conversation with them about their day and they are concerned about it, and maybe they did discuss this, or whoever, if they didn't go to you and they are doing, having makeup done by someone else or whatever the situation is, it's something I could bring up. And because I just don't want to overstep my boundaries with like offering things, whatever. But you're like, hey, ask your makeup artist if they are willing to stay longer. They will charge you.
Touch-up services,
But touch-up services, it could be definitely handful, because I don't know what I'm doing. So if you're going to have me help you do whatever, I've done pinning the veil.
Oh, God.
Which at this point, I'm not an expert, but, I've done enough where I can get it situated and managed and not hurt, like messing up the hair. But I definitely, referring to the professional who does it in the first place, you can't go wrong with that.
It's like your little beauty best friend. You know what I mean? Like your best friend, you're like, hey girl, come here. I'm looking at you. I'm making sure you look good. Like the hair might be blowing. I just come in and I just move it. You know what I mean? And the clients just really love that experience. You know what I mean? You kind of feel like a celebrity.
I was going to say, It's like a real photo shoot, like being a model. You're like, all right, you're like, pause. And I'm like using this pen as like a makeup. And you're like going up and you're like doing that. And you're like, dun, 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 and I'm like,
we all want to be Beyonce for a day.
Too, is especially clients that are like up in the mountains and it's super windy.
Oh, yes.
Those are really, really opportune times to hire your bridal beauty team to stay for touch-ups, because it could mean them coming back to like the getting ready area and being able to touch up like any like face framing of curls, right? Or something kind of gets wind blown and, a hair pops out in the back, we're able to repin it. And these are kind of just things that I think that like, it just elevates what your overall like pictures are going to look like.
An experience as well. Because you don't want to have to, as a bride, you don't want to have to worry about that. How do I look? What am I, what is this? No, it should be, it's like a confirmation that you're going to be taken care of. And I think that it's just wise to invest. And if you're going to be concerned, then do it. I mean, you only get married once, usually.
I don't know, guys. I'm working on my second marriage.
Yeah.
So, you know,
that was just a sampling marriage.
right,
We don't count it.
You can't predict the future, but in the moment, you want it to be everything that you want it to be. You know, like you want it to be as perfect as possible. I don't really even like to use the word perfect because that's just like totally not even.
But it's more like one shot.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can't redo it.
There's no redos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's no redos. You can't go back in time and change things. So you can only plan as much as possible, and having that backup is wonderful. I think that's a really good point.
I mean, more people to take care of you. I mean, who doesn't love that?
I know. I want to be doted on all day, every day, honestly. Like, bring me water, brush my hair, do everything.
Will is like...
Does Will do any of it? No.
I was going to say, Will is probably listening to this and just being like...
He's like, well, I'm out.
Jumping out the window. I made a mistake.
Oh, now we're married. Now the real
The crazy's coming
Now
out.
for you it might be that. For me, it's just foot rubs. I'm like, just give me all the foot rubs. That's really what it comes down to.
I need to incorporate those.
Yeah, my ugly feet. So for...
Oh, the other piece to that.
Yeah.
There was another piece.
Yeah, no, bring it.
Oh, to keep them fresh looking all day.
Yeah.
One, you probably want to get a translucent powder. You want to get a translucent powder that you can just press in to control shine.
Okay.
Right? But if you have a really great team like us, there's not really a whole lot of touch-ups you got to do. Right? Your touch-ups look more like controlling the shine with a little bit of powder, and then maybe just having like your favorite lip color just to touch up a little bit. For our brides, most of the time we leave them with like a little bit of like a little sample of their lip color and cute little bag, and they can put it in there and then they can touch it up. I usually, give that to like the maid of honor and be like, hey, babe, you need to take care of this. This is your bride's, this is your girlfriend's, little touch-up bag, and they'll have everything in there that they need to touch up.
No, that's great.
No, that's wonderful. No, because I was going to say, I know brides were concerned. Like, so you say brides should do what's best for them in terms of like their personality and all of that when it comes to like the style and whatnot. So for me, like personally, I don't wear a lot of makeup like ever. So for someone like me, I know that there's brides out there who are like, do we have to do a lot of heavy makeup in order to look great for the entire day and for photos? Because obviously the two kind of go together. So I know that was one of the questions that came in too. Is,
so it's
do
a
they have to do
balance.
heavy?
Okay. It's a balance, right? It's a balance of you need to have enough makeup on in order for it to last what would be like a 14, 16-hour day. Right. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to take that into consideration that like your everyday makeup, you're only really, your expectation of that is not to last all day. Right. You're like, oh, I put it on for work, or maybe I put it on and go see a couple of girlfriends later on that night. But in all honesty, your wedding day is so specific in the stresses of that day, the running of the round, the, being in front of people, like all of that, the weight of the dress sometimes can be a little heavy, hiking up a side of a mountain, you know what I mean? All of that.
The true Colorado form.
Yeah. All of that. It really has to have, you have to have enough on, but also not look super overdone, right? Yeah. And so it's a fine line. Right. So I always encourage brides, and again, that's managing the expectation, right? Is that you're really skilled artists as us. We know how to apply enough makeup without it feeling heavy or looking heavy in person, but also being enough so that it photographs really well throughout the day, and that you have enough on at the end of the night at 10 p.m. where you're still taking selfies with your girlfriends after 5 or 6 bottles of champagne, glasses maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not here to judge, but you're still going to look fabulous.
Gonna be super drunk, but super fabulous at the same time.
That's fine. That's my goal.
But I would imagine...
I really meant 5 or 6 glasses. I didn't mean 5 or 6 bottles.
Hey, if you're getting 5 or 6 bottles on your wedding night, like, I want to be there.
And you're still standing.
Yeah. Like, I'm coming to that party.
I want to just have
5 or 6 bottles for the whole party. Yeah. I don't know. I don't drink a whole lot anymore. I don't know.
Well, because I was going to say it probably stems back to also making sure they take care of their skin ahead of time and exfoliating. So it's a combination of being prepared and then you working your magic and doing the necessary steps and not doing too much, but enough to, like you said, uphold throughout the day.
This kind of all goes back to of like do you see how much all of that, there's a lot of things that kind of go into place for hair and makeup, right?
Absolutely. So much.
And I feel like that whole idea is really overwhelming to women, or women identifying, right? Is that it's really, really overwhelming, and it shouldn't be. That's why you hire us. That's why you hire professionals to take care of you, because this is our wheelhouse. We're not expecting for it to be your wheelhouse. You're coming to us as the professionals, and we're just here to take care of you and to make it as seamless and stress-free as possible with a little bit of fun.
Yeah, that's why you hire the professionals, right?
Yeah.
Take the stress off of yourself, like take the stress off of your friends, your family. Like, don't ask your best friend to do your hair and makeup.
And like they were all just like,
We're
no.
like, you're probably not gonna love it.
I would never.
She's all,
No.
honey, no.
No. And so for hair and makeup, I know this is also one of those gray areas where it just really depends on what you're doing for the person. But how much time do you usually recommend that someone allot, like, for hair and makeup? And, you know, if they're only doing hair, only doing makeup, or both, you know, is there a certain amount of time that you maybe have in mind that you recommend to people? I want to like ask this in a way. I'm like, it's like a really large gray area.
It varies per artist, right? But we understand that, you know, you guys, like, there should be a whole experience, right? But that experience shouldn't be so long that that clients are just sitting around being bored, right? So we typically book out about 30 minutes per person other than the bride per service. And then it's about an hour for the bride per service. So essentially the bride is 2 hours.
Okay.
And then the bridesmaids or any other attendants that are wanting services are usually about an hour for both.
That's actually really, I'm like making notes right now. I'm like 1 hour.
But I know some other companies book out 40 to 45 minutes per attendant. That's a long time.
Just some wiggle room. A lot of wiggle room.
Yeah.
A lot of wiggle room, but I feel like, you know, I mean, like I said at the beginning of this, I've been doing this for 12 years. I'm pretty efficient.
Yeah.
We have a whole system, especially me and my team. We've been working together for quite a few years now. We're like this, you know, we're a fine-tuned, oiled machine to come in and take care of everybody. And just, it should be seamless.
Yeah. It shouldn't be just waiting around, not like twiddling thumbs, not sure what to do, all of that.
Not starting at 5 a.m.
Well, unless you're doing like a morning
Yes.
wedding.
Well, yes, but like for an evening wedding.
That's what I'm saying. But like not 8 a.m. to do like a 4 p.m. ceremony. I guess unless you have like a million bridesmaids or something like that. If it's just like the bride or something.
So an 8 a.m. start time, we do all the time. So that looks for a 4 p.m. ceremony.
For 4 p.m. Okay, so that makes, well, it says it depends on the amount of people that you are doing.
So there's a lot of things that go into place. There's logistics, like how far at the getting ready location to the venue are you, right? How many services do you have? So let's say you have a bride plus 9. Right? Because we specialize in large bridal parties. So a bride plus 9 is typically 3 artists. Because if you think about that, that is 20 services.
For 2 per person? Yeah.
That's a lot, boo.
It's a lot. That stresses me out, hon. I need more. I need another sip of my alcohol.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, it's a big old party.
No, I mean, but that's why you do what you do, because you love it. For me, that stresses me out because I'm like, I have a hard enough time just putting on like my mascara in the morning and being done with it. Like that stresses me out enough.
I'm like, let's go, ladies.
I love it.
Chop, chop.
I need that kind of energy in my life in general. So yes, that's wonderful. No, that's so wonderful.
So that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon, because if you think about it, if they're taking a first look photo at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
She needs to be done.
She's like, I'm not even going to say anything else.
She's
because
all mic
obviously. I'm dropping your highlighter. Hopefully it's all right.
Freaking highlighter.
So we had a light off situation happening here.
My lights just turned off. I didn't even know they were on.
It's all good. We're about to wrap up here soon anyways. So I know there was a debate with...
Oh, yes, the age-old debate. Eyelash extensions, individual lashes, or strips. Go.
There's benefits to all of them.
Oh, yeah. There's no straight answer.
Yeah. What do you prefer? Or try and like...
It just depends on the person?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start with lash extensions. So if you're a gal and you're getting your lash extensions, right? The benefit of having lash extensions for your wedding is that if you plan on going on a trip afterwards, right after the wedding, such as like your honeymoon, mini moon, whatever, you're going to look fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay. The second part of that is also that you will not have to really worry about any type of lifting with the eyelashes. So that's a plus, right?
Yeah.
The only other thing is whether or not you like that, whether or not you like the feeling of lash extensions on your eyes. Personally, I've had it done. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of clients that get them done. They look fabulous and that's it.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the individual clusters. Individual clusters are really great for women that want something a little bit more natural. Right. They're like these little clusters that usually have like 3 eyelashes on them, and then they're placed individually on the eye.
Okay.
Those are really cool. We do a lot of that for like mothers of the bride, mothers of the groom, grandmothers that just want some type of little.
I'm like thinking the wings on the outside.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like on the outside. Okay.
A little cat eye.
Yeah.
And then a lash strip. So lash strips are awesome. I love them. I use the combination of individual lashes and lash strips all the time. Lash strips are really great, especially too if women want something a little bit more glam. They want it to be a little more full, a little bit more voluminous. They just want a little bit more drama. You're not necessarily going to get that drama from individual clusters.
I was gonna say, are they harder to keep up with on a wedding day? Like if they're starting to like fall off and all of that kind of stuff, like because they would. I mean, I've had that happen once or twice, where I'm shooting. They're like, my eyelashes are falling off. I'm like, I don't know what to do because I don't know anything about all of this stuff. Like I've literally no idea. Is there any tips that you can maybe give to these women?
So definitely like I feel like when you have a professional that knows how to apply them, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly can't remember. I just remember it coming up, and I can't even honestly think of the bride and who did her.
Yeah.
I like even if I wanted to name names, I couldn't. But like just wondering because
It's, it's usually, I find that there's some type of lifting from the eyelash when the eyelash hasn't been properly cut in size for that client's specific eye. When you're taking the eyelash straight off of the package and then applying it directly onto their eye shape. Like for me personally, I have smaller width eyes, right? Okay. So typically eyelashes, like there'll be like a little bit of something just hanging off on the side. That's not cute. Nobody wants to see that. You need to cut that off. So just hanging out, just flapping in the wind.
I'm really imagining.
Yeah.
Like don't do that.
Yeah.
Like they need to be shaped for your eyes. So your artist needs to make sure that they're cutting and sizing the eyelashes for your eyes. You'll get the best fit, you'll get the best wear, and it'll really prevent it from lifting. Also, I have a very specific technique that I use in order to apply the lash. I do a little bit of extra glue on the ends, like a little bit of like a bigger dot, so that there is more adhesive on the eyelash and the strip in order to stay attached.
you're planning ahead.
Yeah, look at you. Look at you go.
Look at you go.
Look at you go, Glenn Cloco.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any like wild stories that have ever happened to you in the past, or anything that's like or like a lesson learned type of thing, or anything, especially in the 12 years that you've been doing this? I can only imagine the things that you've seen. And
the weirdest thing you've seen, whatever it is.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be super makeup related or hair related. It could just be like you were there to do that and then you saw this happen.
I mean, there's lots.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Anything that stands out? Anything?
Oh yeah, they just go racing through my head and I'm like, whew.
Where to begin?
Where to even begin? Probably one of like
She can't even say it right now.
I had a bridesmaid. She brought her own eyelashes and she's like, I want you to use these. And I was like, sure. They were very dramatic. And I was like, but I like drama. You know what I mean? I like a little bit of glam. So I was like, all for it, right? I'm like, I'm not going to discourage you from living your best life. Let's do it, right?
Yes.
So we put them on, get done with the application, and she's like the last one before the bride, right? And she hops out of the chair and she comes back over, like after I'm done with the bride, and she's like, I hate them. And I'm like,
Well, here we are.
didn't pick them for you. Like, and I was like, honey, I was like, we have to go. Like, you guys are like, we're rushing out of the door, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have to go. And she's like, well, is there any way that you could just cut them? And I was like, I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like you go and cut a piece of paper and you're like, psh, done.
You have to take them off your face.
We would have to take them off. I would have to cut them. And she's like, they're too long. And I was like, well, I would have to take them off and cut them, or I could apply a new pair. And she's like, no, just cut them while they're on my eye.
No.
Excuse me, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Do you appreciate your eyesight? Because I really don't want to ruin that.
Also, do you want me to cut your actual lashes on accident? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where they are.
Her face.
Yeah.
So she was just like, do you know what happened? So you left, and do you even know what came out of that?
I didn't just leave. In this particular situation, I then had to ride with them on the bus to their ceremony site, where I sat for 2 hours doing nothing, because none of the it was
Should have lost for words.
Yeah, just
She's traumatized.
yeah. So maybe the takeaway
the
from
worst of that wasn't even the worst of that day.
Right.
So at that time, I was only providing makeup services. I wasn't doing hair yet, right? We weren't providing hair. And I had given the bride plenty of 3 suggestions of hairstylists. Okay. She goes with one of them that I suggested. Fabulous hairstylist. I mean, this person today has 20,000 subscribers on Instagram. Very, very nationally known artist, right?
Okay. Wow.
Fires them.
Wait, fires them before or during?
Fires them before the wedding.
Okay.
So then I show up on the day of, and I know that she has hired a different hairstylist, right? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I think I had worked with her like a couple of times, and she's fantastic. She's awesome. She was super sweet, very skilled at what she does. There's no reason why anything should happen, right?
Yeah.
She wanted back, and this was several years ago, before those big glam waves were in style.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular client wanted them.
Oh.
I think that the artist just hadn't done them enough, right, to be super skilled in them. But her hair looked fabulous. Don't get me wrong. She still looked really, really pretty, right? The bridesmaid comes over, the same bridesmaid that wanted me to cut her own lashes, comes over to the hairstylist and freaking knocks the girl's hand and says, "Stop touching her hair."
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then it gets worse. It gets even worse. I'm doing the mom's makeup, and the mom is psychoanalyzing me because she's a therapist. And she literally is like, "So Cassie, I know that you're the one that recommended the first hairstylist. Do you know her?" And I'm like, "Well, I worked with her. She's fabulous, right?" And we're opposite ends of the table. So it's not like this girl cannot hear what I'm saying. And I totally I support her. You know what I mean?
Right. It wasn't anything against her.
Right.
It was just you didn't know who she was really. So it's not like you didn't recommend her because you didn't know like her or like her work. It was just
This is our first time.
Yeah.
Right. So the mom's like, well, what do you think of her hair? What do you think that she's?
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. And she's like, well, weren't you the one that recommended the original artist? Don't you think that my daughter made a mistake? And I'm like, I politely told her, I do not feel comfortable discussing this with you.
it's a very good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. Why would someone put you under that pressure?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I've never been more uncomfortable in my whole entire life.
Ugh.
No, that's not true. But
Yeah. Well, it's a weird situation to be in.
That's not something you ever want to be in, that you predict or anything. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but lesson learned here. Yeah,
Oh.
lesson learned here. If you're a client or anybody, mother of the bride or anybody, don't be putting nobody under pressure. The vendors asking if they think that the other vendor's doing great or not doing great or whatever. Like,
Vendors against each other.
No.
We all like work and love each other. Like,
yeah, we want to be like a team that day. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want your day to work and flow smoothly, like you need your vendors getting along. Don't
But
pit people
also-
against each other.
Also, maybe you should just go with like your original vendors. You probably
Right, I
hired,
recommended them
if
for
they're
a
confident in
reason.
what they do and they're recommended by other people, and then you don't have to have the situation. But yeah, that's
that is
interesting to say the
freaking
least.
brutal.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see
that's-
you guys are uncomfortable by this.
I know. I'm
I
like,
feel
I'm
uncomfortable.
sweating. I'm like, I wouldn't even know what I would
It's a
say.
good thing I'm wearing deodorant right now.
I know. I'd be like, yes, I love her. I love everyone. I love your hair.
And I like run away.
And
I
you
don't
look
even
so
say
pretty.
anything.
Yeah.
We're there to like cheer you on. We're like your hype girls, you know what I mean? Hype girls and guys. Like we're there like, girl, you look good. You know what I mean? Like we're not there to criticize. We're not there. None of that, you know? And this is advice to the moms. Your daughter doesn't need that shit.
Yeah. She doesn't
Yes.
need that in her ear.
She doesn't need that. No
No.
negativity, none of that on the day of. Absolutely not.
Never. Not
We've
just
also been known to like herd like problematic people. So like I'll have a chat with them like, hey, like, is there anybody in like your group that like you feel like might be an issue? Like, is there anything like I can do to help mitigate that? Right. And typically they're like, my mom.
My mom. It's
Well, you know
always
what?
Mom.
We're going to have a mom episode
We are.
soon.
We're bringing
on our own moms to talk to them about mothers
Yes.
and their micromanaging just nonsense that ends up usually happening. And it's not everyone, it's not all the time, and not bashing that. Mothers only want the best for their kids. Like, that's understandable, but there's certain boundaries that you don't cross, and this is one of those. So perfect example of that, which we have plenty of other examples that we will go over at another time.
Just be positive. Just be there to support your daughter.
Yes.
Just be there to support them. And all they want to, they just need your love and support, and that's it.
Yes. So we have our light turned back on
Our
for a
light
second.
just turned back on. I'm very.
It's like a nice little reminder. So, because we were going to wrap up, because
Yes.
we know you are needing to get to your new studio, which if you wanted to mention, because I know that's happening soon.
Yes, tell us all about this.
Yeah.
What it's going to look like, where it's at, everything.
Yep, all the things, at least so far.
Yeah.
So it is going to be in the City Park area, so close to the zoo.
Love it.
And so kind of in the east part of Denver. We were in the Low-High area. We were part of a co-op, but we've just basically expanded. You know what I mean? And we just need our own space to really take care of our clients. It's a very cute, about 700 square foot place. It's going to have nice lighting. And I'm pretty excited. I'm actually going to meet them right now.
Yeah. I know that's why we're going to wrap up.
Yeah.
But like, we want to make sure
Sounds
that
like
you wanted to mention, about the
it'll-
studio.
yeah.
And we're only doing hair and makeup for basically, we're going to be expanding kind of the services that we offer, but it really is our main offer, and our main flagship is we really take care of brides. That's what we do day in and day out. That's our big wheelhouse that we really succeed and strive in. And so it's just going to be a really awesome experience for them to come in and be just about them.
Yeah, fully taken care of. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's so exciting for you, and having this new studio, because I've been to your other one before, which is great, but I can imagine that this next one is going to be even better.
Yeah. Do you have a...
It's going to be for Candelaria Beauty. There's not going to be anybody else in there.
Yeah, I remember getting lost for a second, and I was like texting you, like, where am I going? I'm not sure exactly, because I'm just...
Big sign outside, Candelaria Beauty.
Can't miss it.
That is so
Oh.
exciting. Do you have a grand opening date?
I can't give you guys that information.
How dare you? No, just kidding. Just stay tuned. So you have social media, all of that. What is your handle? You're on Facebook, all of the stuff. Let us know so our listeners can find you, your website, and all that good stuff.
So Instagram, find me on Instagram. My website's being redone right now with a rebranding kind of, I know.
No,
We
it's
get
totally
it.
fine. Listen, it's kind of like not off season right now in Colorado, but it is a little bit of a slower
off-season.
season.
Yeah.
So you do what you got to do, boo.
So Instagram is Candelaria Beauty Co. And that's it.
Easy.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
So
Can't mess
right
it
now,
up.
that's going to be the best way to get a hold of you until you get your website revamped and hopefully up and running at some point in the very near future.
Oh, like next month.
Okay, so at least yes, at this point in time while we're recording this, it's January, right? So January, never remember what day it is.
Me neither.
Well, thank you so much, Cassie, for joining us today and being our first guest.
I know this was so fun. You crushed it.
You set that bar really high for us.
You really did.
Let's just do a little happy dance. Well, you go off and you check out your new studio, get your, stuff situated. We're very excited for you and these next things that are happening, next stages.
You guys are going to have to come in.
Oh, we will.
Oh, we will. Don't you have any doubts about that?
We'll bring 7 or 8 bottles of champagne.
We'll drink there, not before, so that our skin is great to go in that moment. And we'll brush our teeth.
Yeah, beforehand.
Right before.
Yeah, as I'm driving, I'll do it.
And then we'll drink the champagne. It'll taste gross at first,
Yeah.
but then we'll just push and power through. Yes,
Yeah.
love it. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. Listeners, thank you so much. If you want to, watch us on YouTube,
we're
all
here.
The things, listen to us. You can even see beautiful Cassie's face on the screen. And yeah, we're just really excited for you all to know this information. Thanks again, Cass. And
you.
until next time, cheers, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.